Hello, I'm Bonnie from Circle City Seeds, and today is week 5 of our Grow Along series. We've got quite a few seeds to start this week, and most of them are flowers. Let's start with the dinosaur kale. I've been wanting to grow kale to try it, especially to make kale chips. But I don't want to plant too much though, because I'll be the only one eating any. This is one of only 2 plants this week that aren't flowers. Let's start these dahlias next. This is a mixed packet of a few different colors. At our last house, there was a beautiful coral colored dahlia that grew back for 2 or 3 years. It sounds like for mini dahlias you need to dig up the tubers for overwinter, but I haven't done that with any plants yet. I will have to do that this winter because I got some ranunculus, and it sounds like you need to dig up those tubers, at least here in central Indiana. Up next is marigolds. These ones are a lovely 2-tone color with orange and yellow, and they're called Queen Sophia. I usually put these around my tomatoes. The seeds usually sprout really quickly. The past few years I've saved a ton of marigold seeds, but I've had a hard time testing the germination on them. I think I may need to try the soil germination testing on them. Let's start this flax next. It'll be my first time growing flax. This variety has blue flowers, and I'm unsure if this is a type that you could potentially make linen cloth from. I'm assuming not, but it would be pretty cool. Before next year, I want to read this book that I found about growing plants to make different dyes and pigments from. I'm a visual artist, so that would be really neat to be able to grow and process some of my own pigments to turn into ink or paint. Next to the flax, I'm going to start some love in a mist. The growing instructions for these say to direct sow by raking the seeds in and then walking over them. I definitely didn't do that last year. I grew a couple of these last year, but I think a bunny came through and ate them. And I think this seed pack is actually a mixture of flowers, but they look really cool. I'll put a picture up. And since these are supposed to be raked in and walked on, I think I'm just going to sprinkle these on top and rough up the top layer of seedling mix here, and then give it a light squish to make sure they're making good contact. Let's start some zinnias next. These are Queen Lime zinnias, which are really beautiful. And it looks like my packet here is actually empty. Oops. I'll skip over those and start these salmon ones from In My Gardener. These are a wonderful color, and the ones that I grew last year stayed pretty short. I know I saved some seeds from these Queen Lime zinnias last year, so let me go raid my seed stash. I've definitely got some zinnia seeds here in this box. I left a pink tag in this cup, so those are the salmon zinnias. These other 2 cups are probably from the year before. These ones look like they have a little more pink on the petals, so let's try these. There's really no wrong answer here. I'm going to either end up with more of the salmon or of both types. Let me just break up this flower head here to get to the seeds. I really want to eventually grow a big patch of different varieties of zinnias and collect seeds from them each year, which will mean that the varieties will mix each year, so I may end up with some really cool flowers. Cosmos are up next. These ones are coral, and I've mentioned before that I keep picking the orange and coral flowers to grow. I had a couple of these last year and they were adorable. I didn't get around to collecting the seeds from them though. The packet says to barely cover, so I'm just going to sprinkle a bit more of the seed starting mix on top and give them a light tap. In the baggie here are cosmos that Lisa gave me from her garden. So I have absolutely no idea what color they are, but we're gonna find out. We just moved into a new house. There are all kinds of plants that are starting to pop out of the ground. I don't know what they are. I'm not sure if the previous owner had any bulbs in the ground either, so I'm gonna have to be careful when I'm planting these out. These are mammoth sweet peas. I actually have 2 packets of these here of mixed colors. These big seeds go an inch down, so I just usually poke my finger down into the dirt until it hits my first knuckle there. And these are supposed to smell amazing. I don't think I grew enough last year to get the full effect, so I'm starting some more this year. And these are sugar snap peas. They are the type with the edible pod that are commonly found in stir fries, which is what we usually like to do with them. I'm growing a little bit more than last year because I want to try freezing them. I think you blanch them a bit first, and it wouldn't surprise me if you put them on a cookie sheet so they can lay flat to freeze. If you freeze your sugar snap peas, let me know your method. Let's check up on our baby plants. I've turned on the 3rd set of my grow lights because we now have plants on all 3 shelves. And I finally got around to uppotting some of these guys. I believe this whole tray is hibiscus plants. These are some ranunculus corms that I started the other night. It's my first time growing these, so we'll see how they do. I had to soak them in water for a couple hours first. I plan on splitting these with my mom. I think I got white, yellow, and pink. And there were a couple of mixed freebies in there, which was nice. And these guys on shelf 2 are looking great. Mostly flowers, some gomphrena, some eggplant, and the cayenne peppers. These are the columbine and gladiolus plants I have potted. Some liatris and coneflowers in bigger pots in the back of this tray. Some baby snapdragons, and the tiniest of baby lisianthus. Those mints and impatiens aren't doing squat, so I need to start those over. On the next shelf down, the milkweed are popping up, and the onions are looking good. And there's all these peppers that are on the heat mat here, and it looks like most of them have sprouted, so I can turn that off. This tray is mostly tomatoes and herbs that we started. The seed starting mix here is getting a little moldy, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. The mix wasn't that wet, so I don't know if it was because of the trifecta in it or what. The shelves are getting pretty full, and some of these cold-loving plants should be ready to go outside in the next couple weeks. Be sure to stop in next week, and happy gardening!